S tier at the same time. It's basically a trash can made of solid gold. What up, weebs? Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell-icon. Call of the Night is one of my favorite new anime from 2022. It's about another human who's bored with his life until he meets a half-naked vampire who assaults him in his sleep. And then after that, it becomes a romance. Nazuna is a vampire, but then I realized a vampire dating a human is kinda like if I started dating a hamburger. I guess it wouldn't really feel that different as long as I microwave it first, but anyway, Nazuna's expressive personality makes Call of the Night insanely enjoyable to watch, and her voice actress absolutely kills it. Rent-a-Girlfriend is literally Wikipedia's definition of garbage, yet for some reason I'm completely addicted to it. As a big fan of Rent-a-Girlfriend, I can promise you that it's absolute shit, yet whenever a new episode comes out, I still get excited to watch it with my girlfriend. You guys don't know her though, she goes to a different school, and she's a hamburger. I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I've read 246 chapters of the manga because I could probably find better writing in my comments section, but maybe Chizuru is just so beautiful that I can't look away, or perhaps Ruka is so horny that it's contagious. Regardless, Rent-a-Girlfriend Season 2 is amazing, awful, terrible, and terrific. It's both a 10 out of 10 and a 0 out of 10 at the same time. When you average it out, it's about a C tier, but I'm giving it a B for bias. Lycoris Recoil is one of those anime about cute girls doing cute things, except one of the cute things they do is kill people. There's nothing more adorable than Chizuru shooting someone in the face, and Takina's pretty cute as well when she's mowing people down with no remorse. I feel like this is the type of anime Anya Forger would watch. It's oddly satisfying to see a cute anime girl busting caps in people, and that contrast between violence and cuteness is what drew me in initially, but before I realized it, I was deeply invested in the characters, and now Chizuru is officially battling with Marin for Waifu of the Year. Spoiler alert, they both lose to Power. This is one of the best anime of the season though, and I'm giving it S tier. Black Summoner is so generic, I don't even need to explain the premise. It isn't necessarily a bad isekai, but let me just show you something. No language barrier, CGI, appraisal skill, voiceless incantations, OP protagonist, Circle Town, bingo! Yeah, so I'm giving this anime D tier for doing literally nothing original. I would honestly rather watch Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World. You know, normally when someone gets isekai'd, the first thing they do is either check their stats or look for the Adventurers Guild, right? Well, this guy just immediately buys a slave. After all, consent is the very foundation of slavery. This anime doesn't sugarcoat anything. It's literally just an ecchi about a guy banging a slave. So I guess I admire how shameless it is. I don't know how I feel about Roxanne though. Maybe I'd consider enslaving her if her name was a bit shorter and ended with a Y, but at least the ecchi scenes are good. I'm giving this a C for culture. Danmachi Season 4 is a lot better than the previous couple seasons, and although it still has a lot of problems kissing him and making everyone around them uncomfortable. Except me, of course. Her Big Milky made my pee-pee happy seem infinitely more interesting than the main ones, but this anime just keeps recycling the exact same interaction every episode. The story had a lot of potential at first, but currently the fan service is the only reason I'm still watching it. C tier, here after watching it. I'm happy to announce that the isekai genre is significantly less cancerous than it was last season. When will Ayumu make his move? Is a rom-com centered around— Anyway, Ayumu's in love with a girl named Urushi, and he does literally everything except admit that he likes her. Their typical conversations go something like this. Urushi, you're the woman of my dreams, and I want to marry you and get you pregnant. What? Wait, so do you like me? Whoa, bitch, relax. I didn't say that. I'm pretty sure Twitter would cancel this guy for gaslighting and love bombing, but despite the goofy plot, I still find this anime really wholesome and sweet. If you're a fan of Kaguya-sama Love is War, I'm gonna tell you it's similar to every rom-com I watch for the rest of the year. So this one's pretty similar to Kaguya-sama. B tier. My Stepmom's Daughter is My Sister's Dad is another rom-com about this couple who dated each other in the past, but later became step-siblings after they broke up, and and now they're dating again, at least in my headcanon. Jokes aside, this anime is not the next Eromanga Sensei. It's surprisingly a lot more similar to Kaguya-sama, if Kaguya was related to Shirogane, and the rest of the plot was also completely different. This anime is a lot more wholesome than I expected though, and the characters are almost too mature for the premise. It's unironically pretty good, so if you're a fan of rom-coms and little sisters, then I insist that you give this a watch. B tier. Engage Kiss has really good animation, really good waifus, and a story. For example, this powerful demon attacks, and while most of the characters are fighting for their lives, the protagonist is busy making out with his waifu instead. I'm not sure why Naofumi is cheating on Raphtalia, but I think the moral of the story is that you don't always need one. The gorgeous animation makes up for the mediocre plot, and I swear this is the last time I'm referencing Kaguya-sama, but the Chica dance didn't add anything to the plot either, yet it was still amazing. So at 200k subscribers, I remember that The Devil is a Part-Timer actually got another season, so I guess anything's possible. I can't stress enough how much I adored the first season of this anime, however, season 2 kind of feels like something's missing. I don't know if that's due to the studio change or the 9-year wait. Season 2 is only an A tier. I'm slightly disappointed, but A tier is still very good, and ultimately I'm just grateful one of my favorite anime finally got the continuation it deserves. Summertime Render is a supernatural mystery anime that started airing in the spring season with an extremely gripping premise that hooked me immediately, but I remember worrying that it might lose a bit of momentum before it finishes airing this summer. And maybe that did happen in a previous loop that I have no memory of, but right now I'm 17 episodes deep and it's still just as exciting as it was in the beginning. I totally expected Summertime Render to fall off, but it fell on instead. S tier is what I ranked it in my previous video, and as usual, my opinion was extremely based and objectively correct. But because Summertime Render has been so consistently amazing, I think it's earned its way. My isekai life is an isekai that really wanted to be better than Tensura, so instead of just having one Rimuru, there's like 6 of them now. I can't help but laugh at how funny they look when the main character pulls objects out of them, but aside from that, there's really nothing special about this anime. It kinda reminds me of Meaty, just a useless pile of something. Even if the author's penis size directly correlates with the length of the title, flawless animation, record-setting world building, brilliant character chemistry, and absolute immersion. S tier isn't high enough, so hopefully this anime Made in Abyss makes Christopher Columbus look maidenless. A lot of people got confused about the watch order, so that's an order. I mean, the order. That's the order. God tier. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting is pretty similar to Spy Family, but the tags explain the premise a lot better than I can. Try to name a more iconic duo than childcare and organized crime. This anime is about a criminal, and it's wholesome enough to make me want kids of my own. Unfortunately, that would require something impossible happening, but you get the point. As long as you take your glasses off and close your eyes, because this anime doesn't have fight scenes, it has fight frames. I kinda feel bad for giving it D tier because the premise is actually pretty creative, also known as 11 euros. Honestly, I didn't watch the original RWBY, but so far I'm a big fan of the action, voiceover, character designs, and yeah. I think the story's incredibly rushed and hard to follow. It kind of feels like they try to squeeze an entire movie into each episode while introducing thousands of characters without giving you a chance to remember them. I only know the 4 main characters because their names are literally the title of the anime. I'm still excited to see the next fight scene, but as far as the plot's concerned, I have no idea what's going on. C tier. Shadow's House Season 2 is the most underrated anime of the season. I even underrated it last year when I only gave the first season an A tier. There's an intriguing mystery aspect, a very lovable main character, and a really good soundtrack. This anime reminds me of a time long ago when The Promised Neverland was still good. Hopefully the second season doesn't rush anything because right now, it's an S tier. Tokyo Mew Mew New feels like you're watching an extremely high-quality anime from 1997. It's about a squad of magical girls who turn into cats and fight aliens, but there's also the theme of protecting endangered species and taking care of animals, which, as we know, is very important to the Japanese.
Oh no, it's the Japanese!
Obviously, I'm not a part of this anime's target audience, and I try to be as unbiased as possible, and the maid I hired recently is Mysterious. It's about a maid who applies to work for this kid's mansion and basically hires herself. The gimmick is that she's a normal maid, but the kid finds her suspicious. Her name is Lilith. I like this anime, but the repetitive comedy will get old pretty fast because every episode has the same concept. I like it, but it's C tier. Classroom of the Elite is a psychological mind game roller coaster with a solid premise, a badass protagonist, and a lot of really interesting side characters. But it also has an anime adaptation. I can't hide my disappointment about Season 2's abundance of cut content, inconsistent character management, and decline in animation quality, but the only reason I'm being overly critical is because I care about this series a lot. Despite it not getting a perfect adaptation though, at the end of the day, it's still one of the best mind game anime ever made. If you liked watching Tomodachi Game last season, this anime is similar and superior in every conceivable way. Classroom of the Elite Season 2 is A tier, but read the light novel. Because I'm a slut for rom-coms, okay? It opened pretty strongly last season, but the hype has been gradually fading every episode due to how slowly the plot progresses. I still enjoy it a lot, but I think the A tier I gave it last season was a bit overzealous, even after being adjusted for inflation. I'm giving this a B tier, but if you're a fan of Kaguya-sama, then you should rewatch Kaguya-sama. Overlord yet, but I'm hoping Season 4 is going to be just as good as the previous seasons, because that would make it S tier. However, I'm not going to rank something I haven't watched yet, so I'll just put it here for now. That's the tier list, ladies and mostly gentlemen. If there's any rankings you disagree with, or an anime I forgot to rank, I still read every single comment, so please let me know your thoughts. And if you want a cool icon next to your name, it's only $1 to become a channel member. I've got to go get ready for this date with a hamburger, but make sure you subscribe so you don't miss me giving Chainsaw Man a double god tier next season. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Peace.